Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Nice, beautiful, sunshiny, blue sky day again. A lot going on over the weekend. It was really nice. I was able to get together with Andy. No. I was able to get together with Joe, a bunch of other friends that I was able to get together with, so it was nice. We did a little tour around the city with, the muzzle tour because we went to Resurgence, and then we went to Riverworks and Dose on the lake. We went to Mickey Rat's, so we stopped everywhere. And on Saturday it was just a great day too. As you guys know, I was pretty busy with football during the morning. I went on a couple of bike rides. Went over to Remington, over in Tonawanda. So I think the one thing that I wanted to say, good morning, Roger. One thing I wanted to say is that all of these places that are open. I didn't see all the places I was at. I did not see the health department show up at any of the places. I didn't see law enforcement show up either. But it's the weekend, so these people probably aren't working on the weekend. I guess COVID isn't a threat on the weekend, right? It's only a threat during the week that they have to make sure everybody's wearing their masks and doing all that stuff. I guess the encouraging thing was, though, that people were out. People were out at the places. Now, probably about, I would say, maybe 30 to 40% of where it would be normally at this time of the year. Mickey Rat's, talking to all the bartenders, talking to the bartenders at every establishment that we went to. It just, numbers are way, way, way down. Now, my buddy's restaurant, the Buffalo Sports Garden, he's been blessed. He's been very fortunate and able to do a great job with staying open, making sure he's doing deliveries, making sure that he is, serving every one of his customers the best that he can, and he has the patio open. So now he's hoping for a really nice fall, September and October. Or he's hoping that, the 50% restrictions are lifted, once everything starts, going back into fall and people aren't able to go out onto the patio. There's a legitimate concern on his part of what he's going to do. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to, kind of circumvent the rules and kind of enclose the patio, if he's going to be able to put a tent up, an outside tent, but he's really smart. He's always figuring everything out. So he'll figure something out. But that's the concern. We're getting into fall. Now, all these restaurants are operating, we know, at like 20 to 30% capacity. I saw it yesterday when I was out, and it's just sad. It's really kind of sad. It's great to see people out, but every restaurant says all of our regulars that come out, they're no longer coming out. And is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. What else do people have to do? I mean, let's be honest. What else do people have to do? If you're older, if you're retired, where are you going to go? You got your options, right? You're going to go to the casino. Maybe you're going to travel a little bit. You go to your local restaurant. You talk to some people that you know. You go out shopping. But you go to the bar. You go to the bar because you get to know the bartenders. You get to know the other regulars. And that becomes your little family. Now, does that mean that these people shouldn't be staying home, and interacting with their family? I don't know if they have a family, but there should be the option for people to go out and do what they enjoy to do. And because everybody has been bombarded with information that is just terrifying everybody, people are staying home. So a completely different vibe, a completely different energy, when you're going out now. And I was happy to be out with Joe. It was great. I got together with Joe Palladino and a couple of his friends, Dan and Joe, or Don and Joe, excuse me. We met up at Dose and, for dinner, and it was great. So just an awesome day. I hope you guys all had an awesome day too. Or awesome weekend. And we were going to go to Sunset, and we were going to go to Mickey Rat's, and then it looked like the damn forecasters, they said that it was going to rain. We decided not to go, and it was just gorgeous. Everywhere we went, it was just gorgeous weather. It looked like it clouded up for like a minute, and then it looked like it was threatening rain for like a second, but then that was it. There was a lightning storm. Which day? I can't remember, but it was gorgeous. lightning storm. I can't remember if that Saturday night or whatever it was, but it was just absolutely beautiful. Saw like multiple lightning bursts coming down. But anyways, on to the matters at hand here. It looks like there's a lot of very good information and encouraging information out there. 3 lawsuits that were won. One, Jim Mamergus, I think actually 2 of them, Jim Mamergus was involved in. One was with the employers not being able to force employees to wear masks. Now, I guess the way that one goes is this. If employers choose to force employees to wear masks, that is the business's right to do that, which defies logic. I really don't understand, because if OSHA says very specifically that you cannot force an employee to wear a mask for all of these reasons, for all of these safety concerns and oxygen deprivation, they list them all out. I don't know how any employer can force an employee to wear a mask. So I think what has to happen, the next step is this. I think that there has to be a class action lawsuit from employees against an employer that is mandating masks, because that case has not been filed yet. The way that the case went that was won by Jim is that there was an employer that was not requiring employees to wear masks. He said that you don't have to wear a mask. Health department came in and fined him. Of course they're going to do that. We've got our plan for the health department that we're going to go out and we're going to enact that and implement it, and we're going to start to act on it so that these people can't do what they're doing to everybody anymore. But it has to be, because it's just in this really, really narrow lane. That's unfortunately how it goes when you file these lawsuits. So how it applies is this, and I was a little bit wrong last week. If an employer decides to not force employees to wear masks, and now that lawsuit down in that county is precedent, and it carries out throughout the state actually, because OSHA it's a federal agency. So what happens is this: no health department anywhere, no county health department, no state health department, none of them want to take on OSHA. And the reason they don't want to take on OSHA is because, unlike our health departments here, these people aren't trained in science. They're not trained in facts. They're not trained in history or reality or data. They're not. They're given a job and they don't have to have any experience. They're set out with marching orders to do whoever's bidding, whoever is in charge of them in that county health department, the county executive as well, the governor. They're given their marching orders and they go out and then they find people. They don't even know what the rules are, but they're going to sit there and spy on people. And they're going to brag and boast about it, that they're actually bringing down restaurants for not wearing masks and not complying. So no health department anywhere wants to take on OSHA, because OSHA, and for all their failures, because OSHA it's a pretty rogue agency itself, but in this instance here, it's been advantageous and beneficial. But they don't want to take on OSHA because apparently OSHA does a ton of research for safety, ton of it. They have mountains and mountains of data and research compiled and collected to support whatever findings they have and what assertions they make. They have to, because if they're going to hold employers accountable, they have to have all their I's dotted, T's crossed. Everything's got to be buttoned up. It's got to be. Health departments don't do that at all. There's pretty much nobody in any one of these health departments that are a doctor or a scientist truly and know whatever it is, whatever order or whatever policies that they're going out and enforcing. They don't have any idea. I can't tell you how many restaurants I've gone to when I was in sales for the radio station that I went back into the kitchen and I was like, what the hell is going on here? So the one job the health department has is to keep the kitchens clean, to keep the restaurant clean and to make sure. They weren't even doing that. That was their one job. And they think that they can handle, what the scientific findings are with COVID and masks. They can't. They can't handle even the most basic job that they had, which was to keep kitchens clean. They couldn't do that. But now they think that they're going to be everybody's savior. So with this case, Jim Amigas, he ended up, the judge ended up ruling in favor for Jim and his client. And it stated that if you are or any owner of a business, and if you decide to not implement, because that is not a law, guys. That's what so many people don't realize. It's an order that they put out. That is not a law. It is not even a regulation. These guys have policies that they're acting on based on a governor's order that was made illegally. And the order isn't even enforceable. That's why Cuomo did what he did with trying to tell businesses to force them to make people wear the masks. Now, with this case here specifically, any employer across the state, now it applies across the state because it applies in this one county. The ruling was made, it applies across the state. And it says that if an employer chooses to not force employees to wear a mask, employees can still wear a mask if they choose, but they are not required to. And the owner of the business cannot be fined. So that's how it was specifically. That was the ruling that was very specific. I found that out in our meeting, our command center meeting on Thursday that we had, which was a really good meeting, and I'll get into details on that in a little bit. But so that was the one ruling. Now, one of the questions that was presented, and I think a lot of people saw this over Facebook, it kind of made the rounds. If masks work so effectively against viruses, then why did China have such a huge outbreak? And why do they have outbreaks all the time? Not just with this, all the time. Why are they constantly having outbreaks? You have to ask yourself that question. China has been mandating masks for years, and they're always having outbreaks. Ask yourself that question. Another lawsuit that came out was in favor of the gyms, which is great. I think Jim Amigas was involved in that as well. So great guy. I guess he's got a big ego, but he deserves to have that. He's winning cases for people other attorneys weren't even willing to take on. They weren't. They were scared. They were cowards. They didn't want to go against the establishment. They didn't want to defy Cuomo. They didn't want to defy the Bar Association. They didn't want to put their neck out on the line and their reputation out on the line. I had a friend that stopped talking to me because I was out for a protest. I was out at a protest, the very first one, Delaware, and I got interviewed. And they could see me. They couldn't talk to me because of the impression that was going to give other people and their circle, that they were ashamed of the fact that I would be out there at that and they could no longer be seen with me or risk being seen with me because I did that. This same individual supports Black Lives Matter protests, and Antifa protests, and the rioting and the looting, and all that's justified. But the group of us doing peaceful rolling protests in vehicles so that we weren't putting anyone at risk, that was a danger and a menace and embarrassing. So much to the point that they couldn't be associated with me anymore. Incredible. Just the hypocrisy and the contradiction. And it's just insane. But that's how people think. That's literally how people think, that they don't even see the double standard. They don't see the contradiction or the hypocrisy. They just see their one narrow lane that they're fed constantly through their echo chamber, through those media outlets that they listen to on a daily basis. They're going to be fed, spoon-fed, whatever it is, and then believe whatever it is they're told to believe. Just like with Biden. No, Biden's a good guy. He's a good candidate. Are you kidding me? Can you hear the guy? Can you listen to the guy? Have you seen all the videos? Have you heard his words? Have you heard the things that he says? He has said things that if Trump said them, any one of them, or done any one of those things, he would be on fire. They would be losing their minds. But they excuse all of it. They completely dismiss it. Same thing with Kamala Harris. They dismiss all that stuff about her because it's not about making the country better. It's about what they want. And they don't even know what they want because it's always fluid and it's always changing. There is no consistency. Just like there's no consistency in the support of the protests. You know, we don't support you protesting for elderly rights, for kids going to school, for businesses opening, for businesses not shutting down, for people losing their houses, for people losing their jobs, for people going through huge states of mental illness and depression and anxiety, suicide rates going through the roof, which aren't being reported, which are being buried, that information, lie after lie, protesting lie after lie after lie, handed out to us by the government, health department. We don't support you protesting that. But we support Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesting and tearing down statues and locking down cities and terrorizing cities and looting and rioting and breaking windows and causing all kinds of hell and havoc. We support that. But we don't support what you support, is literally what they're saying. So I got off on a tangent there, but getting back to it, the case that Jim Amigas won was for the gyms. And the gyms are open in 47 states, guys. They are open in 47 other states. So how is it possible that in 47 other states you can work out safely, and all of these other countries that never shut down, you can work out safely, you can attend funerals, you can attend church, you can attend without masks, without social distancing measures, without a vaccination? How is it that for months, all of these things could be open and nobody was dying, but we had to be closed and remain closed for months longer, to the detriment of all these other businesses, all of that stuff, and now people are going to start losing their houses, guys, because they haven't had their businesses. They haven't had to pay. There wasn't any hold on or elimination of people having to pay their property taxes. There wasn't any hold on having to pay mortgages or any hold on paying utilities. As a matter of fact, those agencies and entities receive bailouts. Local governments receive bailouts from our tax dollars because they were still funded. They're not doing anything. They're not working, but they're still getting paid. Teachers, same thing, not working, getting paid. Every local county, they're working barely. Some have been working the whole time, I'll give them that. But there are a lot that haven't, and everybody knows that. They received a huge bailout. Banks received a huge bailout. But the homeowners, the small homeowners and the small business owners, they didn't receive anything. So Jim finally, you're right, Ralph, it is, and we're going to. And what is happening with Jim and the gym, Jim and the gyms, is that Jim was able to win in court, which is encouraging, because that means there are judges out there that aren't allegiant. They're actually allegiant to justice and the rule of law and what the law states and precedent and the Constitution. That they're not allegiant to Cuomo, which is great. And that's very encouraging because of all the other lawsuits that need to be filed at this point. But what Jim was able to get and secure was by filing this lawsuit, he was able to get gyms to be able to open up. Now we know the rules are going to be completely and utterly wacky going into a gym, that it's going to, just like with the restaurants where people don't want to go out to eat because of all the wacky rules, it's going to be the same thing with gyms. And it's unfortunate, it's sad, but we're all going to have to step up to the plate for the gyms and the small business owners, just like we're stepping up for restaurants at this point. But that was another victory, huge victory. That's amazing, because gyms Just like bars are places that people like to go to feel better about themselves, but also to hang out with other people. And church. And those things were eliminated. They were eliminated the longest in this state and a couple of other states than anything else. And you ask yourself why that was. I know why. Because they don't want people coming together and talking and communicating about how wrong everything is. And they don't want them uniting and unifying against the system. That's the end game for them. Now, they're open, the gyms are open, or going to be, that's great news. Wedding facilities also, their numbers were actually allowed to go up. I can't remember what the number was. I think maybe they said 50% capacity now for wedding venues, which is great. But think about all of the people, their dreams, their hopes were crushed and destroyed this year because they weren't able to have a wedding that they had planned on forever, you know. So, but that was a great win. I don't know who won that one, but that's another great win for everybody at this point. Should have never happened in the first place. The victory should have been 100% capacity, you know, just like concerts. So the irony here is this, you know, concerts, you know, and I didn't get to talk about this last week. Concerts are banned, right? Can't have a concert. Can't have bands out and everything else. However, some places are able to. Not sure how that's a factor, how that happens, but some places are able to have bands play, which is great, and that's awesome. But Hagarosa was not. The health department showed up, and the law enforcement showed up and said, no, if you have this, we're going to fine you. Even though law enforcement and the health department wasn't going to stop that police motorcycle rally, they didn't have been any involvement. They decided, well, that's okay. But over here, you're welcome, Roger. You have a great day too. But over here at Hagarosa, this is where we're going to step up to the plate and enforce. Absolute double standard and hypocrisy and contradiction. So, concerts. Not able to go to those either. Another place where people come together and unite. In one instance, they say it's okay. In another, they say it's not. Now, down in the city of Buffalo, at Bidwell Park, there's a house on the porch. They're allowed to do concerts. And everybody gathers in front of the house. And I covered this last week just a little bit. They all gathered in front of the house. All these people. Hundreds of people gathered in front of the house. Now, you know, being down in Bidwell Parkway in Elmwood Village, that all of these people, they're out of their minds, right? They attacked us when we went down there. There's just no consistency in the way that they think. These people think they're elites. You know, they think that they're the leaders of the community, but they're literally degenerates. I don't care if you have money, you're a drunk. I don't care if you have money or this house, you're mentally ill and you're out of your mind. I don't care if you've got a lot of money in a business, you act and behave like an infant. You are not consistent, you're completely irrational, you're completely illogical, you're completely self-righteous, and you come off as you know everything, and that and you should be the one that's guiding everybody else and making sure everybody else is safe. But you don't know how to do that or accomplish that. So these same people who would condemn Hagarosa or churches being open, calling churches the most dangerous place that there are, these very same people are sitting outside on a lawn, you know, in a park, gathered with hundreds of people, not social distancing, not wearing a mask, watching a concert. And last week was the 6th concert that they had doing that. And they're going to do 7 and 8 this week and then next week. So these very same people that are like, oh, we got to wear masks inside a restaurant. We got to social distance. We got to keep all these other businesses closed because they're a haven for the virus. But we're going to go to this concert because it's us. And, you know, it's what we say to you. You got to follow that. But we don't have to follow that because we're elites. That's the way these people think, guys. That's how you get into this situation that we're in. And it's sad. So I'm going to finish off here. I'm going to finish off by reading off a text that my friend Robin sent me last week. And, basically what happened was this. Now Dave DiPietro, who he and I are starting to communicate with our restaurant coalition, and we've got a meeting on August 31st at Raphael's. If you guys want to come and attend that, if you know anybody who is a restaurant owner, by all means, please let me know, and we'll attend that together. Or I'll be there talking to everybody about what we're going to do. But here are some of the bills. I'm going to read these to you guys, okay? When you think it's about public safety, it's not. It's all about making money. And each and every one of these politicians, they're paid off by Big Pharma. So A65464B/S4244B allows children 14 and older to be vaccinated without parental consent. A099, these are all bills that are put in front of the Assembly and the Senate that have been filed. Who do you think's writing these bills, guys? Do you think the politicians are writing the bills, or do you think Big Pharma's going to write the bills? Because every single one of them is about vaccinations. Who makes money off of vaccinations? Mandatory vaccinations. A099 allows forced vaccination and medical treatment, allows detainment of individuals who are perceived health threats, allows detainment of individuals who are perceived health threats. A099. Somebody literally wrote that bill. No deaths in Erie County due to COVID for months. No deaths in our counties. Nearly no new cases at all. And these are the bills that they're putting forth. Big Farm needs to be taken out immediately. They need to be taken out immediately. Politicians, government officials, health department officials that have aligned with Big Farm and profited from it need to be taken out. They need to be put in jail forever, for life. And every injury, vaccine-related injury that has been recorded, and every vaccine-related death needs to be put on every single Big Farm executive's head, and it needs to put on every politician's head that have gone through this. So it gets better, guys. A973/S3899A allows healthcare practitioners to administer all STD vaccines to minors starting at age 9. Without at age 9, a child age 9, without parental knowledge or consent. No parental knowledge or consent, vaccinating for sexually transmitted diseases to all children, all minors starting at 9. That's what your politicians are writing, guys. Those are the laws that they're writing. They're not writing laws to decrease taxes. They're not writing laws to protect business owners. They're not writing laws to protect the Constitution. They're not writing laws to protect you and I. These are the bills and laws that they're putting forth. And Dave DiPietro said there's something like 900 new bills that are out there right now. Never saw anything like this before in his life. And they extend from everything to vaccinations like this, to schools, to insulating government from prosecution, to seizure of guns, to limiting of gun rights, guys. If you don't research this stuff on your own, You need to find a website that has every single one of these, and you need to start aligning with the groups that fight these things. A2316/S2276 mandates annual flu vaccine for daycares through age 18. Mandates the flu vaccine. 12% efficacy some years. They're going to mandate it. Who's writing this legislation, guys? You really think the politicians are? S298A mandates Gardasil 9, which by Gardasil's own admission and on Gardasil's own labels says that it causes death and cancer. Both of those. That's what it causes. And they are going to mandate it for all children born on or after January 1st, 2009. Gardasil, that poison, that ineffective poison, because I think the efficacy rate of Gardasil against HPV it's less than 50%. It's way less than 50%, actually. And then the injuries that are sustained, there's way more injuries that are sustained. Good morning, Keena, and good morning, Pat. I know, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what they do. So A2841 mandates reporting of all of adult vaccines to the registry of vaccinations, guys. Mandates reporting of adult vaccines to the registry without consent. And yes, there is a new adult vaccine schedule being implemented. They already started marketing to the elderly the past couple of years. You're supposed to get vaccinated once, it's supposed to last your life. All of a sudden, they're marketing to elderly. Get it just to be sure. And of course, that's what the elderly are going to do because they're scared. They don't have groups like this. They're not watching things like this. That they know it's a farce and that it's just a huge money grab. They're going to go do it. And now they're going to force adult vaccination schedules. Well, Pete, I'm not doing the vaccination schedule. There's no way I'm doing that. There's no way. Guys, they did it with masks, muzzles. They said you couldn't wear the muzzle. The compliance is going to be there. They're going to use everybody else to intimidate and shame the people that know science. They're going to use the minority, those people who think that they're elites, that 10 to 20% of people that are out of their minds, mentally ill, deranged, but they think that they know better than everybody else, that they're going to use those people just like they used and weaponized them against us now. And they're going to shame, and they're going to bully, and they're going to intimidate. They're going to use the schools just like they do to bully, shame, and intimidate and berate healthcare professionals, so-called professionals, to shame, bully, intimidate, and berate parents. I think that's what they're going to do. The same thing that they're doing now to get you to comply. You're not going to be able to get your license. You're not going to be able to get a passport. Maybe even not being able to buy a house or rent a property or rent an apartment. They're going to mandate these businesses, these small businesses, they're going to put new policies. They don't even have to put laws into place, guys. They don't have to put laws. We've seen that with muzzles. We've seen that with the shutdowns. We've seen that, with the businesses not being able to open. They don't even need to make these things laws. They know how to work it around. And how do we stop that? We stop that by simply saying we take away the power from Big Farm. Immediately, we take away the power from Big Farm. Well, Pete, how do we do that? There's a lot of ways we do it, guys. We're putting together a plan to make that stop. Politically, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen as fast as it needs to because they're going to continuously poison our kids over and over and over again. And time again. Exactly. That's exactly what's going on. And if I'm mispronouncing it, Keena, I'm sorry. But just like Keena says, they're going to mandate to family court. They're going to report to local law enforcement, Child Protective Services. That's exactly what they're going to do. That's what they have been doing. So now they're going to mandate an adult vaccination schedule, guys. And the way that they're going to enforce that, licenses, if you want to get a hunting license, a driver's license, a boating license, any license like that at all, if you want to get insurance for your house, they'll figure out every single way to rope you in to being forced into getting these vaccinations. These vaccinations that are completely ineffective, that have no FDA approval, that don't need FDA approval. They don't need these, like they demanded with hydroxychloroquine, these case studies, these clinical case studies of so many people. They don't need that. And these people don't care. Why don't they care? Ask yourself. And then, this one, A8635/S6717 requires publication of immunization and exemption rates so healthcare practitioners can be disciplined for low vaccination rate among their patients. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. That was 7 bills that they have. That was all. There's 900, something like 900 bills, Dave DiPietro said, and they all cover similar issues like this. Well, what are our options, Pete? Well, I guess your options are to move out of state. That's one of your options. Well, what's another option, Pete? I don't want to leave my family. Stop going to the doctor. That sucks, but that's another way you stop it. I haven't gone to the doctor in decades. I refuse to do it. Why am I going to go? Because you're not going to help me. You're only going to try to fill me with some type of pharmaceutical. Everybody that goes to the doctor knows that. They prescribe you something. I'm not prescribed anything. I'm a pretty healthy guy. I do all right for myself. I eat right. I exercise. I try to stay positive. I try to stay upbeat. I try to limit and reduce my anxiety levels. And because I do that, and my stress levels, because I do that, I'm generally and genuinely amiable and pretty happy guy. On those low stress levels and a good diet and exercise and good sleep patterns, they help me to stay strong and healthy. How many other people could benefit from that? I know, Keena, it's crazy. So that's the other thing you can do. Well, Pete, what's something else I can do? You can homeschool your child. You can keep them out of the doctor. You can research everything that you can about making sure which preventative measures there are for your children, which vitamins, which herbs are out there that will benefit you and your children to keep them safe. You can also, it's going to be tough once you can create your own business. If you create your own business, you're going to insulate yourself. If you decide to own your own home, get that paid off as quick as you can. I have a mortgage consulting business that I do, that I educate and I discipline people on how to take their 30-year mortgage and pay that off in 10 to 12 years, depending on where they are with their mortgage. And I have a plan set up for that for people. So if you ever want to talk to me about that, reach out to me and we'll have a conversation about it. Or if you have anybody that you know that could benefit from that. But the more things you can own and not be involved in the system the way that it is, the better off you're going to be. Because that will mean that there will be less opportunity for the government to decide to force you to do what they want you to do. If it's a vaccination, why is it that you're approving it without testing? If it's supposed to work so well, why are you allowing them to work when they only have a less than 20% efficacy rate? Why are you doing that? We know, because these big farms profiting from it. So what else can we do, Pete? Well, at this point here, we got to collect. We got to get as many politicians elected that see like us. We have to make sure make sure that every one of these politicians that run for office sign an oath stating that they will not violate medical freedom for any individual. None. Not one single medical freedom that we have will they violate it. They have to sign that oath. Another oath they have to sign is they will not support any law on the books currently or any law that is introduced that is against the Constitution or anyone's constitutional rights. Those two things are going to be mandatory. Those two things are what we're going to have to do. You're going to have to support research candidates right now. And those are the things that we can really do effectively. There are a lot more things that we can do and we have a plan for. But these are the things that you can do right now to help combat this and help fight this. Otherwise, guys, all of those bills that I just read off, they're getting passed. And you think they're looking back at that point? No. You know, why do you think the NRA fights so hard to have every single law fought? Because once you go down that road, it just keeps going and going and going. It keeps snowballing. Once they get one win, they're going to continuously try to take another win. They're going to try to take another victory. It sucks that we have to stand up and fight, right? We all just want to live our lives. That's what we want to do. But guys, the fight's not going to stop. There's nobody else that's going to stand up. There are so many great individuals that are standing up right now and fighting. Align with them, support them, join them. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, guys. All you got to do is support them, join them, do whatever you can. And doing that little bit is going to make a huge difference. It's going to make those people that are working hard right now feel like they're supported. And that's going to be great. There was something else I needed to say. I can't remember. It escaped me. But anyways, it's about all I've got for today. A lot more to get into tomorrow. I didn't even get into our meeting and what we covered. We're supposed to have our phone meeting later today, so I'm going to do that. It's going to be a great day. We're wrapping up the siding job, which is going to be good. That always means payday. Yes. And then we're going to start a new job over in Elmo, which is like a staircase job, which would be great, falling down. But we're going to get over there and do estimate over there. But that also means payday too, because it's the start of a job. So that's always good stuff. Anyways, making sure Andy's getting paid and fed and, you know, making sure he gets nice and fat. Hey, he ain't getting fat. The boy needs to put some weight on. He's happy the gym is open, but yeah, we get all these jobs coming up and lined up, which is great. But it's great seeing all you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all the comments, Keena, Roger, also Ralph. Thank you guys. I appreciate all your support, all your love. Love you guys. Enjoy your day. If anything happens today, the Marching Patriots, this is what it was. Marching Patriots, Segul, Mike, I want to say, but I think I might have that first name wrong. He's doing an amazing job. Support him. Go out, and I need to march with those guys as well. I haven't been able to yet, but get out there, follow his page. I think it's Marching Patriots, but I have to look it up. I'm following him on my page, and I'll share it, and I'll get the details of the information. The other thing is, don't forget this week, August 22nd, I want to say that it is, and okay, yeah, absolutely, I will, for sure, Keena. Thank you. And August 22nd for child trafficking. I think that was the day. I could be wrong. Now, it seems like I thought it was a Saturday, but now that seems like it's a Thursday. But I'm going to get that information on that protest that's going on down at Spot Coffee on Elmwood Avenue at 11 a.m. I want to say that is August 22nd, but I'm not positive. I thought for some reason it was a Saturday. If somebody has that information you want to share with me, but that's the one against child trafficking, pedophilia, sex trafficking. And we should all come together and support. That is really important for us to do. But enjoy your day, guys. I'll talk to you later. It was great seeing you. Love y'all. Bye-bye.